This is Dennis Callan taking you to the USA East Coast. We're starting our trip up in Boston, and we'll continue on down to New York, and then to Philadelphia, and eventually Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. We're starting in Boston and heading down to New York by train. We'll have 5 days in Manhattan, and then going down to Philadelphia, and from there we're going down to Washington, D.C. for 4 days. So we're getting a grand sweep of the East Coast. Taking you to Boston. We're going to be visiting this beautiful city in New England. It's the capital of Massachusetts, and it's really one of the loveliest cities in America to visit. There's so many attractions for the tourists. There's the historic city, there's the modern city, and there's shops and there's restaurants. And we're going to show you up and down the town, and plus we're going to be taking a trip out into the countryside to see the beautiful fall foliage. We'll be driving up into New Hampshire. Boston's a city of neighborhoods. There's a mosaic of Old Town, New Town. There's the new buildings of the financial center, modern bank glass skyscrapers. There's the historic, charming streets of Beacon Hill. There's the 19th century well-planned neighborhood of Back Bay. And then there's the rest of the city, all put together, forming a real attractive place to visit. Newbury Street. This is one of the nicest streets in town. It's become a very trendy spot with a lot of shops and restaurants and cafes. Continuing walking along Newbury Street with its collection of boutiques and art galleries and restaurants, you can see the Victorian architecture here that's been embellished and really gentrified. The front lawns have turned into beautiful gardens or sidewalk cafes. And this artistic neighborhood even features a masterpiece wall mural by Richard Haas, one of America's great realistic painters. It's been said there's a greater concentration of art galleries here along Newbury Street than any place else in the entire country. They're on the second floor as well as the first floor. Down on the corner you'll find the First Baptist Church, and you'll find plenty of expensive shops to spend your money. Cartier, Versace, they're all here as we're getting down Newbury Street towards the public garden end. Here you find the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, a chain that's certainly one of the most exclusive in the world, and it's at the gateway to the public garden. The Boston Public Garden is a real oasis, 24 acres of beautifully landscaped trees and flower beds, and with the pond in the middle. You'll notice the leaves are turning color because we've timed our tour to coincide with the peak of the fall season. We're here in the middle of October. There's a lot of geese, there's swans, there's ducks, there's statues of revolutionary heroes in the public garden. This is America's first public botanical garden. The idea was first planted back in 1824, and in 1859 the designs began. Just around the corner from the public garden is Boylston Street, another one of the very nice shopping streets in the center of town. You can see they've got toy stores and gentleman clothing stores. There's more jewelry shops here. There's investment houses and some very impressive modern skyscrapers. Remarkable buildings. Juxtaposed cheek by jowl with some very old buildings, you see postmodern columns rubbing up against a neo-Romanesque church, towered over by the tallest building in New England. There's Trinity Church, built in the Romanesque style, built in 1877, and next to it is the Hancock Tower, designed by I.M. Pei. It's the Boston Public Library, and it's really a fabulous institution. It's the oldest major public library in America, and Ben Franklin played a role in getting it going. We're going to run into Ben here as well as in Philadelphia. He was born here and spent his youth here, but then he moved to Philadelphia where he did his major work, you know. This building is based on an Italian palace, a Florentine palazzo, even right down to the bench that's out front of it. You see, it's a convenient sort of a gathering spot. The Museum of Fine Arts is housed in a lovely neoclassical structure. It looks like it's from ancient Athens. And inside the museum is a collection of over 1 million objects. including the largest collection of paintings by Claude Monet outside of France. There's 38 works by Monet. There are works from the Italian Renaissance, from Bellini. There's Egyptian work in here. There's Picasso and El Greco, Winslow Homer, marvelous impressionistic collection, Renoir and post-impressionist of Gauguin and Van Gogh, classical statues. A great afternoon can be had at the Museum of Fine Arts. Then we're on our way into the MBTA. They call it the T, the underground tram in Boston. Boston actually constructed America's first subway train back in 1898. We get to the most popular gathering spot in the heart of town. It's Quincy Market, surrounded by shops and restaurants. It's a great spot to be. And they're eating outdoors, they're eating indoors, they're walking along eating and talking and shopping. There are tons of places to eat here at Quincy Market. It's a veritable feast on the hook. You can do fast food, fine dining, cocktail lounge, anything you choose. Walking around through the marketplace is a great way to cap the day. Faneuil Hall is the old meeting house of town. And did you know that Ben Franklin got his start in Boston before moving on to Philadelphia? And he's still here, selling tickets to various tourist attractions. Quincy Market, with its massive Greek Revival Doric columns, stands in the middle of the Faneuil Hall Marketplace complex. Inside Quincy Market, you'll find nearly 40 different shops and stalls selling a tremendous variety of foods. And outside, you can sit at a cafe and have a complete meal, or just a light snack and a drink and dessert. Or you can turn yourself into a cartoon character. Faneuil Hall Marketplace is one of the main focal points of the city. It's a very lively spot, and you've got to devote at least half a day on your visit to Boston. Another big marketplace is found in the Prudential Center. They call it the Prude, and it's filled with stores, and there's a food court for inexpensive fast foods, or you can have a real quality meal at a number of great restaurants that are located inside the Prudential Center. Legal Seafoods. Now, isn't that an odd name for a restaurant, but it's the most popular seafood chain in town. They have several legal seafood outlets that you can dine at. A fabulous meal at Legal Seafoods, one of the top restaurants in town. Boston is filled with quality restaurants, and one of the best places for Italian food is up in the North End. Now it's lunchtime. We're jumping around and showing you some different eating venues, and we've been walking around as a group in the Little Italy section of Boston. It's the North End. It's the most historic part of town, and we found that there are literally dozens of Italian restaurants here offering lunch for about $4. You can't go wrong with that. La Famiglia Giorgio, it's a little chain. They also have an outlet down on Newbury Street. Incredible foods. You can get a variety of 3 different kinds of pasta, a full plate of food, all for $4. Or you can go a little bit more upscale, and you'd pay $6 or $7 at a higher quality restaurant, which is still a bargain by any standard. The North End, with Salem Street running through the middle of it, and Paul Revere Mall. We'll be back here with our walking tour. We're going to be taking a tour with the National Park Service Ranger, starting in just a few minutes. But first, it's onto the trolley and into the heart of downtown. It's called Downtown Crossing. It's a pedestrian area, no cars allowed down here. It goes for about 5 blocks, and at lunch hour, the city really comes out and shows off its stuff. This is the place to be if you want to see local Bostonians at their best. In a recent study of urban anthropology, it was found that Boston has the fastest pace of life in America. People talk faster, they walk faster, they count their change faster, they get entertained more quickly. And yet, with the fast pace of life, Boston still enjoys a very high quality of life.